Praise be Jesus and Mary. If you were to approach a born and bred Catholic, aged, I don't know, over 65, 70, and you would ask them, why did God make you? Almost certainly, like most cases, they'd probably respond with these words: God made me to know, love, and serve Him in this world, and be happy with Him forever in the next. And they'd be right, of course. That's the correct answer. It's from the Baltimore Catechism, which a lot of Catholic students were educated in back in the day. And this answer is so important and perfect and beautiful because it gives us the end, the purpose for our existence, for our creation, the goal, the end for which we are made. And it's really important in life to have this end on our mind. It's, this question, why did God make you, and the answer is one of the first ones in the Catechism because it's fundamental, it's foundational for the rest of the Christian life. It's something that you should have always in some way on your mind, at least on the back of your mind, to say that it can inform all of your decisions that you make, especially when you have to choose between different things. To be able to choose well, you have to know what the end that you're choosing for is. Of course, it's not like that's all you think about, but it's always got to be there. It's sort of an analogy you could think of is if you're driving somewhere, to a destination. Even though say if I'm driving tomorrow, Father Ignatius and I have to drive to New York, but it's not like the whole time he's thinking, I'm going to New York, I'm going to New York, I'm going to. But it's always there. If you ask him any time where are you going, I'm going to New York. And every time he has to make a decision, he knows he's going to New York, so he has to take this road or that road. And that's sort of like our life decisions, all of it. We have to always have in the back of our mind that truth of what our end is: to know, love, and serve God in this world and be happy with Him forever in the next. So there's two parts, obviously, to this end. It's one end, one purpose, one goal, but two parts. The second one is to be happy with Him forever in the next, that's heaven. And the first part is to know, love, and serve Him in this world. And normally, the rule is that to get to the second, you have to pass through the first. That's a general rule. Of course, there's exceptions in God's grace, we believe. But the rule is that. So we have to aim to know, love, and serve Him in this world in order to be happy with Him forever in the next. So God, this end is so important, and God, like with any end, there's always means to achieve that end, to arrive at that end. And one of the means that God uses are miracles to help us to better know Him, have faith in Him, to love Him and serve Him. And we see that in the gospel today. So Peter's mother-in-law is not feeling well. She's got a bad fever, and he comes and he heals her. He performs a miracle. And she gets up and serves Him. She serves Jesus Christ. She serves God. And so we see that, that's beautiful the way it works out, because it shows us that miracles are one example. And this is sort of miracles in general they're not an end in themselves. They're a means to help us to achieve our end. That's why God doesn't always perform miracles when we ask, because it's not always necessary or convenient for our end, for our good end. And so, it's important in life to look at miracles in that way and other means that God uses for our end in that way as means, and not get caught up on them, because I think it's a temptation that sometimes we can transform means, these instruments, these things that God uses to help us reach our end, to become ends in themselves. And so we can, get focused. Even though miracles are really good and important, I love miracles. Saint Charbel, my patron saint, is one of the greatest miracle workers. But sometimes we can get too, infatuated with the miracle, like caught up on the miracles, and just go from one miracle to another, and look at that, and look at this miracle, and look at these scientific evidences, how it's just, it proves the truth of God's existence and a divine intervention, which is really important to look at that. But if you focus just on that and you lose the point of growing in the knowledge and love and relation and serving of God, then it sort of defeats its purpose. It's not really reaching the end for which that mean was given to us of the miracle. And that's something we should be aware of in our spiritual life. And even more, another means that God uses, we see, and this is probably more problematic and more common, is the instrument of his ministers, of his preachers or leaders in his church. Sometimes are instruments of God to speak his word, to preach. The prophets. We're all made to be priests, prophets, and kings in baptism, but in a special way. The ordained ministers of the church, you could say, especially bishops, they hold the highest office of being prophets and speaking God's word. So they're instruments of God to help us to know, love, and serve God in this life. But again, like we saw in the first reading, sometimes the Christian community, people, ourselves, we can cling to the means, to the instrument, and lose sight of the end of Christ. And this can cause division. St. Paul in the first reading is correcting the Corinthians for that reason, because they're getting caught up on I'm with Paul, I'm with Apollos, and you can think of examples in our own day where we get caught with different leaders. I like that guy, I don't really agree with what he always says, and it's like, okay, but it's good to have these opinions and be critical to a degree, but it's not what's essential. Like what's essential is not them. Essential is Christ and His Blessed Mother and our faith, the truths of our faith and the way we live our faith. And so it's just a call for us today through the readings to reflect on our lives, but I think really important, just a reminder to keep that end in sight. Always in every decision we make, we are made to know, love, and serve God in this world and be happy with Him forever in the next. So it really helps us, especially in difficult times, but even in small things. In our decisions, is that going to help me know, love, and serve God better to do this or to do that? And so it's a little call for us to reflect today on the end for which we are made and the means for us to arrive there and the relation between the two. And we ask our Blessed Mother to intercede for us. She always had the end very well in mind, and we ask her to help us to keep that good balance between the two and to accompany us on our journey to arrive safely and with great success to the end for which we are made. Praise be Jesus and Mary.
Now